What is up, guys? We have a special video for today. I'm gonna basically show you how to network as like a new developer, or software engineer, whatever you want to call yourself. I feel like this is pretty much needed from the get-go because a lot of people, they have no direction, and I feel like that's why a lot of people quit development, because they don't really have a community to fall back on. So if you are actually planning on taking this serious, like wanting to get into development, I feel like you need to learn how to network early on with other developers. So let's pretty much get into it. So I'm gonna go over the different things you can do to find developers. And one of them is Reddit and forums. And Reddit, if you don't know what Reddit is, I feel like you're like holding yourself back, because Reddit is like one of the biggest, I don't know if I would call it social media, I would call it like a forum. It's like one of the biggest forum sites pretty much out there, pretty much. And what Reddit is, it's basically a hosting site for what they call subreddits, which is just sub forums. Like you have one big forum, and then you have other smaller forums, and then these are a few of them that you can go to. Like if you search Reddit and then web dev on Google, it should pop up. And then some of these subreddits, they have like hundreds of thousands of users, so you can like post, you can get tips, you can there's just so much you can find on these subreddits. And of course you can network with people on, like you can probably like see someone posting and just message them, or you can there's like chat rooms on these forums, so you can like go to the chat rooms and stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. So if you're like into web development specifically, you can go to these ones, since these are mainly web development focused. But if you're into other languages, you can also find subreddits around them. Like for example, Learn Python, they have like Java Reddits, Reddits around app development. They have subreddits for pretty much every single language or framework or library or whatever you're trying to learn or whatever. And another thing you can do is meetups and hackathons. And when I say meetups, I don't just mean like in person. You can like if you're not like a big social person, or if you're like if you like busy, and if you don't want to like meet up with people in person all the time, like you can just find events online. Like you can just like use some of these websites up here, which is Facebook, Meetup, Eventbrite, and Zoom. And for example, on Meetup, you can search based on your area, or even other cities. Like even if you don't live in a city, you can still find online meetups through Meetup, and they are usually hosted through like Zoom or like other web hosting, whatever it's called. Like yeah, I can't remember the word I'm looking for, but yeah, you get my point. And then another thing you can do is hackathons. As you can see here, it's a great way to actually practice coding in groups. And I feel like hackathons are definitely needed, especially if you don't have like a group of like, if you don't really have like friends to like code with, you can just go to like a hackathon, and then you can find people, and there's usually like competitions, or it's usually just for fun, well, it's just overall a good experience to get experience with working in groups pretty much. And you can also find these hackathons through Reddit. You can find them through Eventbrite, meetups, Facebook groups. Like, there's a lot of different ways you can find them if you just search around. And like I said, it's not just it's not just in person, it's online too. So you can literally find hackathons for, like, in tech hubs. Like, you don't, like, for example, in San Francisco, like, you don't have to live in San Francisco to find a meetup in San Francisco. Like, you can live in, like, I don't know, you can live in some small town in Tennessee and you can still find these meetups. Like, it's pretty insane, but it's, people don't utilize these platforms. Like I said, you can be in Tennessee and you can find developers all over the country and you can code with them and you can form connections with them. So next we have Discord channels. And Discord is also one of those things that a lot of people, I feel like, don't really use. I mean, they use it, but I feel like it's just underrated, especially for, like, someone who's not really coming from, like, a tech background. They probably don't know about Discord, or they don't know about Discord for, like, coding. And there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of different ways you can find Discord channels. And one of the biggest ways you can find them is just Google it. Like, if you search up web development Discord channels, then there's probably, like, some huge list that you can find. And there's even Discord channels around, like, courses. Like, if you go on Udemy or something, you can find Discord channels for those specific courses. And even if you didn't pay for those courses, you can still join the Discord channels, because it's not like it can, like, verify if you bought the course or not. So yeah. And the same thing applies to Slack. Like, Slack, it's basically just like pretty similar to Discord. In fact, it's like a chat room type thing. Can't really explain it. You just have to, like, look it up for yourself. And it's the same way with Discord, where you have to, like, pretty much just Google it. Like, if you Google web development Slack channels or whatever, then like a list will pop up. And another way is through social media. And there's even more than this. Like, there's tons of them, but the main ones are obviously Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. In Facebook, there's tons of different groups, and I don't know. Honestly, I don't use Facebook that much. But for a lot of people who do use Facebook, I'm sure you know how to navigate around it to find these groups. And same thing with Instagram and Twitter and YouTube. I don't really use Twitter, but I do use Instagram. What you can do through Instagram, you can, like, find, like, you can search by tags, and you can find developers that way, and you can find developers in your specific city or state or whatever, and you can just connect with them. Like, you can just add them on Instagram, ask them questions, and they can, help you, or you can help them, or whatever. Same thing with YouTube. You can search by like, if you know the YouTube search parameters, you can search by, like, the date. Like, if you search up web development, and then if you organize it by, like, let's say within, like, the last month, you can find small developers, like, who are just getting started or who are making YouTube videos around it, and you can ask them questions similar to like how you found my channel. So yeah. And then I believe this is lastly, we have social networking, which is pretty similar to social media, except it's more niched to making connections with people. Like, you have sites like LinkedIn, and I'm sure there's a ton more, but I don't really use them, so I didn't list them. And then you have more niched networking sites like Stack Overflow, GitHub, and Programming Hub. And what these are is these are based around development and software engineering. So it's like GitHub has like a forum, or you can even just find like random projects that interest you, and you can find who the developer is of those projects, like of the files, and you can find them on other platforms and message them. Same thing with Stack Overflow and on Program Hub. So I believe this was the last one. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This is actually going to lead up into another super overview, which is why you don't need a coding bootcamp. So I'm gonna like go over that in depth. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You can look through these again if you want to. You can pause it. So yeah, thank you for watching.